Hey guys, welcome back. So I have got my October favorites here for you today, and what I do in these videos is I quickly mention overall Friday favorites, and then I have other things to share with you. Like today I've got a couple of skincare things, a hair care thing, and then a ton of books to chat about. Because I always love reading, but I have some really good ones, and just also some ones that I want to chat with you guys about. So, if you are new here, my name is Leslie. Welcome. I love to do favorites videos, new at the drugstore, get ready with me's, reviews, empties, just a lot of fun stuff here on my channel. So if you're new, I would love it if you hit that subscribe button and stuck around for a while. I'd love to have you here on my channel. So yeah, we are chatting about October favorites, so let's get to it. Okay, so for overall Friday favorites for eyes, I would say these two, I think. The e.l.f. Bite Size eyeshadow in Pumpkin Pie, just the most beautiful, coppery, bronzy sort of palette. Amazing formula, incredible price point. It's so good. And then the Rimmel Magnifies Nude Edition for the kind of taupey, cool tone shades in this palette. So good, great everyday palette. It's just a great affordable palette. If you want to see swatches of these items, definitely check out the original Friday favorites where I mention them because I swatch them, go into more depth, and blah, blah, blah. For blush, I would say the L'Oreal True Match in Tender Rose. I love these. I love these blushes. They are very buildable, everyday, not overpowering, and definitely not difficult to blend. I mean, if you are kind of concerned about blush and worried that you're going to get like a big blob of it and not be able to blend it, try out these blushes because they're very subtle but then also buildable and really pretty and flattering on the skin. They're just a great formula and I feel like very versatile. So I love those. And then for lips, I would say the Wet n Wild Cloud Pout Marshmallow Lip Mousse in Marsh to My Mallow. I love this. And then I think I have to also mention the Maybelline Superstay Ink Crayon in Chase Dreams, which is the one I'm wearing. This one is more kind of on the rusty, rosy side. And then this one is kind of like a berry, purpley, berry kind of color. Just really good. Both great formulas. This is more of a moussey formula that does kind of have a little bit more, I wouldn't say movement to it, but like hydration to it throughout the day as you're wearing it, but still very long wearing. Really just comfortable, easy formula. This one is more of that long wearing pencil, crayon, lip product kind of situation. So more on the long wearing side. So if you're looking for kind of more of the moussey formula, this one. And then if you're looking for more of the long wearing pencil type formula, this one. Okay, let's chat about the skincare favorites. So I grabbed my retinoid type products that I've really been liking lately. But this one, long time retinol, which one, what is it technically? It says okay, what is this? Peter Thomas Roth Retinol Fusion PM Night Serum. It says pure and potent, time-released, micro-encapsulated retinol, 1.5%, vitamin C and E, and then it says for all skin types. So this is not just a recent retinol type favorite, it is a long time favorite. I've used this for probably a couple years now, I think. It is very, very like liquidy and watery, so a little bit goes a long way with it. So you don't need very much product. It really spreads on your skin really nicely. Just a good retinol type product. I don't find it irritating to my skin. My skin is not overly sensitive. It's pretty used to retinols and what's the word? Exfoliating, like chemical exfoliants and stuff like that. I have made my skin barrier angry at one point though, where I was over exfoliating. So that can happen with me, but it doesn't happen often. My skin's pretty used to retinol. So this one, I don't find sensitivity with it. It is really good. Now this one seemed pretty intense and I kind of had to build my skin up to getting used to this. This is by CeraVe and this is the Resurfacing Retinol Serum. It says with 3 essential ceramides, licorice root extract and niacinamide. So that's really nice. So you get some kind of added ingredients in here. It says it was developed with dermatologists, this lightweight formula with 3 essential ceramides, encapsulated retinol, and licorice root extract gently even skin tone, helping to fade the appearance of post-acne marks and pores for a refined complexion while helping to restore the protective skin barrier. But I'm going more for the fine lines. My rude camera cut me off, but I was saying that this I'm targeting fine lines with this. That's what I'm going for, so I'm targeting the fine lines. So what I do with these two products is, so in general, my forehead can kind of take more intense products because it's more on the oily side, whereas my cheeks are more on the normal to sometimes dry side, like especially down in here and even around my chin sometimes. So sometimes I'll use different products on my forehead versus my cheeks. So I use this product on my cheeks and kind of basically the bottom half of my face. And then this I use on my forehead because it's a little bit more intense. I find this one like doesn't cause as much dryness. This one's just more on the intense side, which is interesting since it says it has niacinamide and ceramides, which are very like hydrating sort of ingredients. But I just mainly use this on my forehead, and I really have liked the benefits I've seen with these two products. This one's more on the affordable side. This one I usually get from QVC, or is it HSN? I don't remember, but I'll look it up and link it for you. But usually I'll look for like a set or a sale or something like that from whichever it is. I think it's QVC. Yeah, but they're good products. And then a hair care favorite. So I really do not use dry shampoo regularly. A couple years ago when I was trying not to wash my hair every day, I was using it a ton. I was using a lot of dry shampoo. The ends of my hair were so dry. I was getting so much more breakage. That whole situation was not good for my hair type. So I've gone back to, I wash my hair every day. But I did recently find this dry shampoo and I really, really like it for the days that I feel like my roots are just maybe looking a little bit like greasy, even though I've just washed them. Like maybe I didn't get all the shampoo out or the conditioner or whatever, or I just need a little bit more volume at the roots. That's when I will use this. This is from Acure, which I really like their skincare products that I've tried, dry shampoo. And it says it has rosemary and peppermint in it, which is good for the hair. And this one is made with cornstarch and arrowroot. And when I was kind of like reading about different dry shampoos or like dry shampoo alternatives, I was seeing those things kind of come up in people's suggestions. And then I came across this, and it's just a little like you turn it and then you can kind of like get the powder right on your roots and rub it in. Doesn't take very much at all. So I use this sparingly. I don't use it a ton, and I just really like it. I've been impressed with it. So as far as like a dry shampoo goes, I think this one's different than a lot of them. I like it just for that added volume. Okay, and then let's talk about books. So I have been reading like a lot of different things, but I've been reading kind of more like, I don't know, a little bit more like thrillers or kind of gothic feeling books. Maybe a little bit on the spookier side, but y'all know that I don't like horror. I don't like super scary. Like that's just not my thing. So I wanted to chat about these 3 books that I read. So first off, Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. I really like Riley Sager. I've read several of his books and I really like his writing style. I'm always engaged with his stories. So this one, I'll tell you, when I went to read these books, I actually looked up kind of like mild spoilers on them because I sort of wanted to know what I was getting myself into with them. You know what I mean? So I sort of knew like the basic twist, but not all the details of it, at least with this one and this one. So I don't want to give away anything, so I'm going to be very vague with this, but the basic storyline of this is that her family bought and lived in this old, supposedly haunted house. Like it kind of had a history to it. And then they lived there for a very short amount of time, moved out. And then her dad wrote this book about it being a haunted house, their experience there. So now her as an adult, she's going back to this house and she's kind of like ready to sell it. She's going to fix it up. She's kind of a house flipper, like designer type of person. So she doesn't believe the book. So the kind of storyline is her back in the house and trying to figure out, is it really even a true story? Like she doesn't believe it is, but then kind of some things start happening. She's like, well, is it? So this book overall is not for me because you get the perspective of her in the present, which that storyline I liked. That wasn't too scary for me personally. But the past storyline, which it's not even really past, it's the book, it's her dad's book storyline, that gets really, I mean, it's essentially a horror book. and you're reading it. And it got, like, I had to skip multiple pages in it. It was just too much for me, too dark, too creepy, not kind of stuff that I want to read. So for me, this was too much because of that part of the storyline. So overall, that one was not for me, but I wanted to mention it just because I know it's a really well-known book and most people seem to really like it, but it was a little too much for me. This one, again, I think a lot of people will like. This is Ruth Ware, The Turn of the Key. I love her writing style. I flew through this book. So this one is about a nanny who goes to work for a family in this house that seems really weird. Like, the kids seem weird, the house seems weird. It's a smart house, and it's like, okay, well, all this weird stuff is happening, and you're going, is it like the smart house, or is it haunted, or what is happening? So this one was definitely not as scary as this one. Overall, I definitely like this one better than this one. But I gave this one 4 stars because it kind of stressed me out. Like, her working for this family with the kids, she's in a lot of, like, just, she's woken up in the middle of the night and things are happening with the kids, and it's a lot of stress. So I felt stressed reading this book. So that's the only reason that it was just a kind of a little bit too much for me. But overall, like, I was engaged in the story. I wanted to know what was happening. I really like Ruth Ware's writing. But I was just a little bit stressed reading it. Then I read Broken Girls by Simone St. James. So she is known for kind of like ghost stories, and that's not my thing either. But I read about this one, and they kind of, like, I read some people saying, if you don't typically read those, give it a shot because it's a very, like, small portion of the story. So it is about this old boarding school, and it's rumored to be haunted. So you're getting the 4 roommates in the past storyline, and then you're also getting the current storyline that this girl kind of, she has like sort of a tragic story in her past. The area is kind of significant to her, so she's intrigued by this boarding school that has now been purchased by someone and is going to be reopened after years of being closed. So she's kind of investigating and looking into the history of this place. Some things happen, so you're getting the past storyline of the boarding house and then the present storyline of her. I love past-present storylines. That is one of my favorite things in books. I love when they're trying to figure out the history of something that went on there. So I loved that part of the story. And yes, like, it's a little bit of a ghost story, but it's very subtle. And honestly, I would have liked the book better if that wasn't even in there at all. I just wanted, like, the mystery of what happened there, the story of the girls that went to the boarding school. So I more just liked that part of the storyline. So there's that one. So that was just kind of like book discussion. So now let's get into, I would say I really did like Broken Girls. Like, that was a good book. That one, I think I gave that one 4.5 stars. So I really liked that one. Now let's get into the books that I really liked. So this one, this is such a strange, like, it's called Anatomy, a love story. So this is a YA, very gothic feeling storyline to it, and I really liked this. So it's about this girl who, it's like in the, I think the late 1800s, and she wants to be a surgeon, or like she wants to work in medicine, and it's at a time when women really were not able to do that. She's trying to, like, go to these classes, and she's disguising herself, and she ends up kind of striking this deal with the professor when he kind of discovers her there, that if she can pass the doctor exam, essentially, then he will let her enroll in school and then also allow other women to enroll in school. So she's excited about that, but she's going to have to somehow figure out how to, like, prep for this exam. So she knows she needs to work on cadavers, and she needs to, like, figure out how she can get access to that. So then she ends up meeting a Renaissance man who is essentially like, is that what it's called? No, not Renaissance man. Not a Renaissance man. A resurrection man. So essentially a grave robber. So they kind of end up, like, working together, and then it's a love story with them. But then there's also a twist at the end that really I did not see coming, that totally surprised me. And I just really enjoyed it. Like, had a very gothic feel to it, but also kind of history to it. Love story, and it was just kind of an interesting, funky sort of a storyline that I really liked. Then I have started reading cozy mysteries. So my friend Pamela, she loves cozy mysteries. She suggested them to me a long time ago, but then I just finally started getting into them. And really kind of what well, I don't even remember how I got down this whole rabbit hole, but Finlay Donovan is killing it, that I loved. Could technically be considered a cozy mystery, but it's not as cozy as most cozy mysteries. You know what I mean? It's a little bit darker. The themes in it are, you know, like it just is a little bit darker than most cozy mysteries. So I don't know if it's technically a cozy mystery, but it's kind of in between a regular mystery thriller and a full-on cozy mystery. So I loved that book. So it's like I just need to try cozy mysteries. So some of them that I tried and really enjoyed, this one right here. So I also read this one. They're part of the same series. And the thing about cozy mysteries is a lot of times most of the time, they're part of a series and you don't have to read them in order. It's better if you do, because there's usually continuing storylines with the main characters. One thing I didn't realize about cozy mysteries is that a lot of them have a small kind of romance subplot, which I love. I love when there's a thriller mystery with a romance. That is like my favorite thing in a book. I love the combo. So a lot of times they have that in them. So that storyline usually kind of continues throughout the book. So anyway, these are part of a series. I have not read the whole series, but I plan to, which is the Cupcake Bakery Mystery Series by Jen McKinley. She also writes romance books, so I want to read her romance books as well because she's a great writer. So first off, I read this one. This is Pumpkin Spice Peril. I didn't love this one as much. It was still pretty cute, but this is the one that I really enjoyed. This one's called Dark Chocolate Demise, and it takes place like the whole initial, you know, premise of the storyline where they find the body is in the middle of like a zombie kind of a festival sort of a thing. Like they're dressed up as zombies and it's just cutesy. And there's two friends, so the basic storyline is there's two friends, or really technically three, that work in it, or that own and operate a cupcake bakery. And there's romance in it, and somebody ends up dying at the zombie festival, and the person that did die was dressed like one of the main characters. So they're wondering, like, were they trying to get her? And so it kind of develops from there. But it just, look into this series if you're kind of curious about cozy mysteries, because that's a really well-known one. I've been talking too much because my voice is getting tired. So we're gonna have to hurry with this. 15 Minutes of Flame. This is part of the Nantucket Candle Maker Mystery. I love these names. They're adorable. There's so many puns in cozy mystery names. They're adorable. I'm obsessed with them. They're precious. So this one is actually the third in the series. I didn't realize that, but this one seems like it's going to be very fall themed, but that's a very subtle side plot of it. This one kind of has a cold case that she's checking out and investigating, which I love when, you know, they discover something and they're trying to figure out what happened in the past, which I already mentioned. But I just really liked her writing style. Kristen Brecher, and she has a new book that just came out, so I'm excited to read that one. It's a brand new series. And I just really was engaged with the storyline. It was lighthearted. That's the thing with cozy mysteries, is that they don't have gore on the page. They don't have spicy scenes. Some of them that are a little bit more on the edgy side might kind of get close to that, but not full on, like a full on romance or a full on thriller. So yeah, they're just a little bit lighter. And then I really loved these. Death in Castle Dark, and then Castle Deadly, Castle Deep. This is the same series. I think these are the only two in it so far. It is a dinner and a mystery. What? Dinner and a mystery. What? Dinner and a murder mystery. So this is the first one. This is the second one. So the main character, these are about actors that work at this essentially castle, but it's a newly built castle, but it's supposed to look old. And they do like a murder mystery kind of a thing where people come in and they're performing, but they live and work in this house. I love that storyline. I think that's so cool because I was in theater in high school, so I love reading about theater. There is definitely some romance in this too, which is really cute. It's definitely a side storyline, but I just really enjoyed it. I like the characters in this one. That's the thing with cozy mysteries too, is that it's very character driven. Like, I think that's why it's a good idea to start from the beginning and continue on if you can. I don't always do that, like you just saw, but I think it's better because you really get invested in the characters' stories and what is happening with them. Then last up, Alice Feeney, Daisy Darker. I loved this book. It was a thriller. It's a closed door mystery where this family goes to this island where their Nana lives. She'd been told by a fortune teller that she was going to die on her 80th birthday, and the storyline starts out they're there for her birthday and something ends up happening to Nana. So they're trying to figure out what happens, and then people start getting picked off and they're wondering who it is, what is happening. You're learning about the history of the family. It's past, present storylines. You're reading from Daisy's perspective. I will say, I kind of thought of, well, there's kind of multiple twists to this storyline, and I figured out 2 of them. But as I was reading, I was like, I wonder if blah, blah, blah. But then I would read something and I was like, well, maybe I'm wrong. So I kind of went back and forth, but then when I got to the very end, I had kind of suspected 2 of the things, but I still loved it. So good. I really liked her writing style. I've read something from her also, his and hers, I think. I didn't like that one. It was too dark for me. This one wasn't as dark. And there was, like, it was relatively clean. I mean, I don't think there was really hardly any cussing in it. So, I mean, it would just, yeah, it seemed different than her other one that I read from her. So I liked this one a lot. Okay guys, those are all my favorites. So I hope that you really enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Let me know down below what you think about these things that I mentioned. Let me know your favorites, makeup, skincare, hair care, books, whatever. I would love to hear your favorites. Let me know that down below. Ask me any questions that you have. I'm happy to answer those. Please subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.